Welcome to the last episode of Impact. You guys know the next 2 weeks will be basically recap. Now, I want to say this personally. I kind of wish they had called everybody in at the beginning of December and recorded something for now, coming into next week before Christmas. I think that would have been good because now they're working with AEW, they could have done something. Now, I don't know if AEW is going to have 2 weeks of recaps themselves. They might have 1 week. But I'm thinking, if I was Impact, I'd call everyone back and do a new line just for this. Now, mind you, maybe they already have done this. Maybe they already filmed some stuff going into January, which I would not be surprised. They probably filmed all they needed by November and December. No, late November, maybe early December, when they finally arranged everything and they have recorded it and they're going to release it in January. Maybe that is what they've done. But me personally, I would have had one special for this next week. And then the Christmas one could be the recap. Because they're going to do two weeks of recaps. That's just, I don't agree with it. But that's just me. Now, I want to say before we get started, the stream for Twitch looked decently good. Now, of course, it's not near the 52,000 when Kenny first came in. That is no lie. And when I saw it, it was nearly 15,000. It was 14,700 and what was it? 78. 14,778 people returned from the 52,000 the week before. That's good. That was very good. Of course, it's not the same numbers. This is 52,000. This is 15. That is a big gap. But at least some did return. And if things work well, going into 2021, working with AEW, that could grow. Maybe. Now, let's get to the show. I'm going to make it very clear. I'm not covering everything. It's not happening. Because Redemption, I forgot to watch. I was working on my animation that weekend and I completely forgot to look at Redemption. Now, it is on one of the websites I know would normally cover it. So, if you guys want to see me review Redemption, I can do it tomorrow or Thursday. I got some stuff to do tomorrow, particularly if it's going to snow heavily in New York. I got stuff to do. But if I can, I'll try and make a recording. I'll watch it and record it this Wednesday before Dynamite or Thursday. Just tell me if you guys want to see it or not. I am actually quite curious to see it. But there's a lot in that show I missed. So a lot that happened here, I am not going to really elaborate much on it. Because I'm going to wait until January. So I'll see how far it goes. Will they continue it? Will they elaborate it more on? I will give my thoughts on it. But I'm not going to give my full thoughts. Just want to say it now. Now, we got Tennille Dashwood versus Alicia. Sorry, I always say Alyssa. It's Alicia. Look, guys. I really have no interest in seeing a feud between Alyssa and Tennille Dashwood. Look, I don't hate Alicia Edwards. But this is Tennille. This is Alicia. I'm sorry. You got a jobber and you got a main eventer. She just looks like a main eventer and she's working with a jobber. Unless you really build up Alicia into a mid-card or a main eventer, then I could believe it. But they've never done that with her. She's always had small bit parts. So she's never been a mid-carder and she's never been near close main event. She's never sniffed it. Now, of course, she's had chances to try and get after the title, but she's never had a storyline that leads to the main event. It's never happened. So this match, for me personally, was just setting up Eddie dealing with Sammy, which honestly, I don't hate Eddie. I don't hate Sammy. Hell, Caleb looked funny in pink. And he did get splashed by Alicia. I'm not taking anything from her. That was a nasty splash she did. It wasn't something women normally would do, particularly at her size. She could have hurt herself, and she kind of looked like she might have hurt Caleb. But seeing that Eddie is still dealing with Sammy, it just feels like they're spinning their wheels. They got nothing for either one of these guys. And I don't know what they're going to do in January. I'm hoping to blow it off quickly and do something new. That's just me. I'm just moving on. I know I could say who won the match. I'm not even going to explain it. There's no real need for it because it was never really about her. It was never about Tenille. So, we had the Moose segment. And him explaining what he did to a Willie Mack. That he wasn't there. He was hurt for the next couple of weeks. Then he's trying to build something up with Rich Swann. Now, mind you, finally seeing Rich Swann dealing with Moose, the Impact Champion versus the TNA Champion, will give us something different. Which is the real title of Impact Wrestling? Is it the TNA title or is it Impact title? This is what I was worrying about months ago. That it was nothing but a damn prop. And they're not going to do anything really substantial with it. And to be honest, it's still kind of like that. This is not about the TNA title. This is still about Moose getting over. And he's not making the title relevant. He's still holding the title where he's relevant. They say a title can make a man, or a man can make a title. Basically, the title made Moose to a certain extent. But now the title's really not being needed here. But I'm hoping they will do something with the TNA title. I'm hoping they'll make it relevant. I'm not saying they should revert the name back to TNA. A lot of people will like that, but they are Impact Wrestling now. I'm just hoping they'll transform the TNA title into something that could be useful for Impact Wrestling. It doesn't even have to lose its name. I'm not saying to turn it to the TNA television title. Just make it relevant to help. Make it help talent. Instead of just leaving it alone, and once it's done with one person, you just discard it. Make it relevant. It doesn't even have to have a real good position. It just needs to be able to uplift somebody. Well, Willie comes out, and he says, look, you beat me. Fine. That was at Redemption. I'm hoping that's the name of it, Redemption. I'm trying to remember. It's not Retribution. It is Redemption, I believe. But you beat me at the Impact Plus show. Fine. I'm not even angry you hurt me. But being told, and this is the thing that gets me that I don't want to elaborate too much on, about him being basically stopped, the match being stopped because he couldn't work, I'm going to leave it at that. The only thing we know is that Genesis, there's going to be an I Quit match. That could be quite interesting, counting if there's a very strong stipulation connected to the I Quit match. Because just having an I Quit match for both of them is interesting, but it feels like it needs something else. Maybe it'll be elaborated on the first show of Impact. I'm going to leave it there. Now, Raju and Chris Bay had their moment. Now, I understand Chris did not win the Impact title. I don't know how well the match went. It probably went very good because both Chris and Rich are good workers. But it seemed that the as he calls himself, the ultimate finesse, which is a smooth freaking criminal. He is a smooth criminal. You see how smooth he was to trick the ass of a Rohit Raju to come to ringside and to work with him dealing with Manik, who is now the X Division champion. As I said before, I knew Manik was coming back and he won the title. But as the match went on, you could see that Chris was trying everything he could to make this interesting. And in the end, he got what he wanted. He got basically decked in the face by Raju. And now he lost the match. Manik won, but he lost the match on purpose. You saw the smile on his freaking face. He just played Raju like a fiddle. So that little rematch clause of his might not just be a rematch clause. It could be a triple threat, or, which might be even more interesting, the rematch clause of Raju could be up for grabs at, why not, at Genesis. I'm not saying they'll go there, but if they did and took a month to build into it, it actually, well, a few weeks to a month, it actually might be interesting to see a Chris Bay going after Raju's rematch clause. Or maybe Don or Scott will actually set up a triple threat at Genesis. That's what I'm thinking. Now, you got another Tony Khan ad. They are helping them. And I gotta say this, Tony is not a very good actor. He sucks. Tony Giovanni tries his best to help out, and he does to a certain extent. But you see Tony Khan, he's not an actor. He should not be in front of the screen. But I think he's doing this on purpose, even if he's not very good at it. Or he actually is doing a decent job looking stupid. I don't know which one it is. It's one of them. But it is good to see that they are doing something. And for what I understand, this is what I've learned. I could be wrong about this. But from that show that Kenny was on, the ratings on Tuesday, if NXT was on Tuesday at the same time as Impact, they would have beaten them in the freaking ratings. Now, what did Impact get on that day? It was like 630,000? Normally, as far as I know, Impact Wrestling gets maybe 200,000 in America, roughly speaking, through Access TV. No, not America. I mean Canada. Maybe 200,000. They beat them. What that means? They had to be 600,000 or 800,000 on Access TV. That is interesting to know. So it's good to see that the little thing that's going on is going on. Now, let's go to the breakdown of Ethan Page. Now, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't. I will elaborate at the end of the show, but seeing Ethan Page and Josh interacting, it seems that Ethan is still part of the company still. At least in these tapings. I don't know about January. Maybe he's done after Genesis. I don't know. But they still have him in this final episode of Impact. It is good to see. But the question still, is he part of the company or is he gone? I don't know. You guys can tell me below in your speculation. Because we still don't know. Not even WrestleVotes knows. Or Wrestling Inc. No one knows if he's done or not. Now, the Hood Rats versus Taya and the Rosemary for the semifinals of the Knockouts Tag Championships. Now, I had this feeling that Tasha Steele and the Kiera Hogan were going to make it to the final round. I had this feeling that the way these two were interacting, that they might become the first Knockouts Tag Champions in, I don't know how many years it's been. Maybe 6 years since they last had the titles out. 5 or 6 years or 7. I don't remember the last time it was used. I know it was with Eli and ODB when they got married. But I don't know how many years that was ago. Was that 6 years? 5 years? 7 years? I don't remember. You guys can tell me below because I remember they got married. And my goodness, I'm sorry. If Eric Young didn't get a wedgie in his trunks looking at ODB in her beautiful body, he is one hell of a method act. He is, the man can control himself. ODB got a nice body. And from what I understand, she's actually nice. She's not a bad woman. She loves to do band with her boobs. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to sound sexist or anything. It's just, it's kind of hard not to get aroused by a beautiful woman in front of you. But I don't know how many years that was. So, let's move on to, let's stay with the Hood Rats for a moment. Because you got Johnny Swinger digging into the fanny pack of a Tasha Steele who's trying to convince Kiera does not believe the money's gone. And Tasha is lying to her damn face saying simply, I don't got it. You got I think I got that shot in my face. He's now got the money. With probably the fanny pack. He'll be more interested in the fanny pack than the money in some cases. So where are they going with this freaking money? Will they end up in Johnny Bravo's hands? I'm not even talking about Hernandez's hands. I really feel the money's eventually going to Johnny Bravo. He is going to get that damn money. It will be in his hands. And him and Rosemary are going to be doing some stupid thing together. That's where it's going to lead. And then we'll probably, if what AC Romero was saying about his friend Larry, who supposedly has gone to jail now because that's what the deal was at Redemption. I believe that in the end, if they're still going with the story, which they are, Johnny's going to get the money. We're going to see him with Rosemary. And then we're going to see who is the true killer. I think I know who it is. I'm not going to say it. But it does feel like that very person I'm thinking of. I'm not saying it. If you guys have an idea, you can leave a comment below. But I'm not going to tell you who I think it is. But if I'm right, it comes full circle. Now, Brian Myers versus Josh Alexander. This was not about the match, even though it was not a bad match. This was about Ethan Page coming in as a karate man. He's in my face, facing down a Josh Alexander due to the fact the match was DQ'd, due to the fact that Josh Alexander gets laid out a little bit. You got Ethan Page getting his head whacked in the very beginning of, well, about near the middle. He comes out. He faces a Brian Myers saying, come on, leave my partner alone. Who the hell do you think you are? My partner's better than you. He's trying to cheer on his partner. He gets whacked into the turn. Well, once he hit the ring post and he's gone. Everyone's asking where he is. And he comes out as the Karate Kid ×2. You can see my face again. I don't know where they're going. I'm going to have to see Redemption to see how this gets turned out. So I'm not going to say any more than that. I know I could say more about their conversation, but I'm leaving it for January 5th to see where they go with it. Now, we have, let's get to the last match and then the most important thing. You got Chris Saban versus Carl Anderson because of what happened at Redemption. Now, you got Kenny Omega watching this and spending time with Carl. It would have been nice to have everyone else there and do an extra episode like I said, but at least they did film what they needed before the end of the year. The match was good. In the end, Carl won, but Rich comes out pissed off that Carl cheated because as a tag champion who's supposed to be a face, he didn't like that. And then they start arguing. And then you see Saban and Shelly come out attacking Carl. Then you get Luke coming back, even though he was supposedly injured. He came back and kicked some butt. And then once Rich got involved, boom, you get King Omega messing his shit up. Now you can see these guys in my face, and at Hard to Kill there's going to be a 6-man tag. The beginning. That's something. But it better, and I'm saying this clearly, this better be about Kenny Omega winning that match. Yes, it's going to have Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows by himself. But it has to be about AEW winning. They cannot lose here and then nothing happens. Impact needs to lose there. That's my statement right now. I know I'm not supposed to be bringing this up, but I'm bringing it up in Genesis because it needs to be brought up. Or is it Hard to Kill? What was it? Hard to Kill? Or is it... Yeah, it's Hard to Kill. I'm sorry, it's not Genesis, it's Hard to Kill. My mistake. The most important thing is the Eli segment. Washing the brain. That's not the title I'm using. But this is what I'm thinking. Whatever happened at Redemption, where Cody Deaner got taken, looks like he must have been kidnapped by Eli. I'm about to say, not Eli. The reason I'm botching this is because I have one thought in my head. Just one. Just one thought ran through my head when I saw the first segment of Cody Deaner getting brainwashed or cleansed by Eric Young. Sanity. I know that's an NXT thing, but you got to see it by my point of view. Please. Insanity. This is something, from what I understood, wasn't built by Triple H. It was inspired by Eric Young, from what I understand. Eric was the one who came up with the idea of Sanity. Triple H liked it and elaborated on it, and it allowed him to expand on Sanity. That is how it got started. from what I understand. And Sanity never reached its full potential. It was destroyed on the main roster. So who says that EY could not reconstruct Sanity on Impact Wrestling? Of course, he can't use the name Sanity. It's not allowed because that's a trademark now with WWE and basically NXT. They could always use the name Sanity. But seeing that he has Joe Darling, now he has Cody Deaner. Even his cousin Jake is saying he's lost. He lost him. He's lost. In front of Tommy Dreamer and in front of, who else was with Tommy Dreamer? And, and Rhino. This could be the start of something really good. I'm telling you right now. Impact does not have a faction. It just doesn't. Seeing this, a Sanity style faction where it got so heavily over on NXT. People were outraged that Sanity got nowhere on the main roster. Of course, the original people who worked in Sanity, I think one of them is out. So maybe Impact may hire him. And if he's going with Cody Deaner, going with Joe Daring, and Eric Young, he could reconstruct Sanity. And even if he couldn't bring back the original people from Sanity, this could be something great. This will not be LAX. This will not be the Hitman Clan. This will not be the Rascals. It won't. This is going to be, I believe, not even the OGs. I'm excited here. If Eric Young is allowed to have creative freedom on this one, if the Impact brass in the back, the creative team, who is in some cases stupid, allows him to write his own narrative. I'm taking this from EC3. If he's allowed to write his own narrative of how he wants the faction to work, he could give Impact a good shot in the arm. Because Impact needs a faction. They need a faction that's unlike any faction that's been around. And Sanity was very good. And they need something new. If this is Eric Young's faction, his writing of his own faction, taking the best elements of Sanity and putting it into Impact Wrestling's faction that he creates, I give my word, people are going to be interested in it. I am definitely interested in it. But this is still something we don't even know is going to happen. I'm hoping he's allowed to control how the faction is going to be written in creative. Because if he doesn't, this is just going to be a joke. But I do believe this is something that could work. But we won't know until after January, because January 5th is when they start up again. So this is all speculation. But this is just my point of view. Have a good day. Have a good night. Oh, I might be doing a couple of videos in between January. Maybe I might do 2 or 3 videos next to AEW. Do maybe 2 or 3 videos if I can, because I don't know what the situation is, of how they can fix Impact Wrestling. I'm thinking about it. Peace.